Hello, Joni here with Realty Executives in the Villages. I want to take a minute and answer this question. Should I buy the most expensive home in the neighborhood? So now I don't think anyone is going to realistically ask that question and expect a yes. When buyers are out looking, they know this is an investment. You're buying a home, even if it's not an investment property, you're buying it to live in. And some quick stats for you: the last 10 years, homes in the villages have appreciated 146%, over 146. I looked at the numbers this morning, it was like 146.7%. And that is May 28th, 2025. Now, the average has been 6%. Every year, homes in the villages have appreciated by 6%. This past year, it's actually been down by 1.9%, but your average is 6. So just like any investment, that can fluctuate. So homes in general are going to appreciate, especially here in the villages. It is a very popular place. A lot of people love to move here, but it is wise to really dissect what neighborhood you're going to, right? Look at it from all different angles. Now, this buyer that I was working with, this real sweet couple, they invested in this home. We were in the closing process, in the inspection period, and their friends scared them. Their friend said, "Look, you're buying the prettiest home in the neighborhood. You don't want to do that, right?" And that wasn't the case, actually, because when we actually went through the comps and looked at, okay, well, let's see, is that true, right? It could be true. This could be the best home. When we looked at what else sold on that street in the last few months, that was not the case. They were not buying the most expensive home. But what if? What if they were? Would I tell them to walk away? Well, of course, that's their decision at that point. But here's a couple things to keep in mind. One is, it's going to be, if you buy the best home, it's going to be that benchmark property. So it's going to kind of set the stage for your neighborhood. It's going to bring the value up. You're going to be able to help your neighbors, and therefore all the other homes in your neighborhood bring their value up. I had another home earlier this year, and I literally saw that happen. We were selling the most expensive home in the neighborhood, and the comps, there was no way we could charge any less. The seller did not want to go any less, but it was no doubt the prettiest home in the neighborhood. And we did end up getting a buyer for it, but it was in a neighborhood where the norm was like 300,000, and this home was an $800,000 home. So that can be a challenge, and there were people that did not want this beautiful home because of that. But it is the benchmark, and what we saw when we listed that home, there were other homes all of a sudden that started popping up that weren't as pretty and as nice, didn't have the best features, but it was almost like all of a sudden everyone knew, okay, that price is okay. So it's going to set the stage for the other homes nearby. And just know that there's certain features that are not going to go out of style, right? There's probably a reason why that home is so expensive compared to maybe the home across the street, whether it is a big upgrade, maybe you did a big addition on the home, maybe it's the lot itself. So if you have a view, especially in the villages, that is a big deal, because in the villages, homes are typically, that is what it's all about. They're very condensed. You have what we call kissing lanais here, where people can see each other from their lanais. People get very creative in creating barriers there. But in general, if you have a lot that doesn't have someone right behind you or a road right behind you, that ups the value significantly. So if you're buying a home and it has a special feature like that, I'll share this story with you really quick. I actually was working with another buyer earlier this year, and we were looking for a pond view home. And this one neighborhood had 4 homes, all from $1 million homes down to there was one for 485. The 485 home sold over asking price, not because it was a pretty home. My client actually joked that it was the ugliest home that I had ever shown him. It was very out of date. There was stinky carpet. It was not a pretty home, but it had a beautiful view. And that home sold. If you had taken it off that lot, it would have sold easily, probably $150,000 less. But that lot itself, just being where it was and having the view that it had, upped the value so much. So there's definitely some factors to, some things to factor in when looking at the prettiest home in the neighborhood. It's not always the worst idea, but definitely do your research. And if you and I are working together, feel free to reach out to me. We can tackle this together. And I love hearing your questions. Feel free to message me or call or text. I'll put my info in the chat if for some reason you don't have it already. Have an amazing day. Bye.